Like, where's my ultrasound? I just want to bring my German OB care to the States, please. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mallory and today I'm bringing you my 32-week pregnancy update. Well, this has been one heck of a week, so I have a lot to share health-wise. 8 more weeks until baby boy's due date. We're getting down to the wire, so it's super exciting. So let's jump into this update. So first, my pregnancy stats. I do have a weight this week because I had a prenatal appointment, which I'll talk about later, but at the doctor's office, I was 139 pounds. And whenever the last time I took my weight, well, I guess it would have been at the doctor 2 weeks ago. I guess I was like 137. So I guess that's pretty normal. So I think I'm doing okay with weight. Don't know what my belly size is again. That tape measure is somewhere. So now, baby development. According to parents.com, baby is almost 4 pounds and is the size of a Napa cabbage. So a Napa cabbage is one of those like larger, kind of like it's a little elongated and it almost looks like lettuce, and it's lighter, like a lighter green and white. Excuse me, a lot of GI stuff going on. Hold on, I will get to that. And he is moving around like crazy, lots of movement. During the afternoon, he's more quiet, but like at night, he gets more active. He's more active in the morning too, it seems. So yeah, but he can't have very much room to move around much longer. I mean, like actually flipping. So, all right, let's get into the symptoms. So like I said at the beginning, this has been one heck of a week. So let's see. On Monday night, I had a high blood pressure scare. So I never thought this would be an issue. I mean, it's not really an issue right now, but it was a little bit worrisome at the time. So Monday night I was working kind of late. Mark was at the gym late and I was working on my computer, just sitting here at the table in our hotel room. And yes, we're still living in the hotel. And I was working at my laptop, sitting there for quite a while, at least an hour, maybe close to 2 hours. And I was just really intense on doing my work. I was editing YouTube stuff. During that time, I started becoming really thirsty, and so I kept drinking water. And then finally, I realized that my feet, kind of like the tops of my feet, were itching a little bit. And finally, when I finally finished my work, I was also feeling like for probably about an hour, my belly just felt really tight and hard, almost like an extended Braxton Hicks contraction for like an hour. And I was just feeling tired, but I kept pushing through it. I should have stopped when my body was clearly showing signs of fatigue, but I didn't. So I kept going. And finally, when I got up and I was done, I realized that my feet and my hands were mildly swollen. Can't talk. And I haven't had any swelling this whole pregnancy. So like I got to week 32 basically without any swelling. So that was weird. And this thirst continued, and it didn't matter how much water I drank, I could not quench my thirst. I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and I never feel that way. In fact, I usually have a hard time getting enough water in because I just don't think of it, and I don't have that like thirsty drive to drink. But I just kept drinking and it wasn't doing anything. And then I started getting a little bit of a headache, which was weird because I'm like, well, I'm clearly not dehydrated because I've been drinking water a lot this past like hour or two. And I was texting my mom about my symptoms, and she was like, have you taken your blood pressure? And then she said, well, I don't even know why I said that. And I said, well, that's actually a very good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Because of course, with the sudden swelling and the headache and stuff, of course, my nurse brain goes to worst case scenario, preeclampsia, which clearly if you have preeclampsia, you're gonna have like really bad swelling. I mean, you're gonna have protein in your urine, all of that. But I don't know, and also high blood pressure. So once she said that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my blood pressure. I have a top of the line electric, actually, like electronic blood pressure stethoscope, and a manual blood pressure cuff from nursing school. And so I've never actually tried taking my own blood pressure. And on my right arm, I was 140 over 80, which the top number is high. And then on my left arm, I was about 148 over 80. So that was even worse. And so I was like, I texted my mom, yeah, my blood pressure actually is high. And I could also, when I was taking my blood pressure, I could tell that my heart rate was up as well. Now, I have a few theories as to why this was. So anyway, so I was concerned, and I kind of propped myself up on the bed, put my feet up, because that's what you're supposed to do. Or I got a shower and then I did that, because that's what you're supposed to do, is put your feet up when you have swelling. Kept drinking water. The headache still lingered. And it kind of like waxed and waned. It was like get worse and kind of almost go away, but not quite. Probably about after 45 minutes, the swelling was gone, but the headache was still there. And I forget if I took my blood pressure again. I don't think I did. And I told Mark what was going on, and I was like, I need to call the nurse line, the TRICARE nurse line, to see what their suggestion is. Like, do I need to go get seen? You know, is this something to be concerned about? And so I called the nurse line, talked with a registered nurse. Second time to do this in pregnancy, first for that diarrhea episode. And so their conclusion was, or her conclusion was, yeah, because, yeah, your swelling is gone, but because of the high blood pressure reading, you know, you really should get seen by a doctor as soon as possible, like tonight. And I'm just like, oh, this is not how I want it. And by this time, it was like 12:30 in the morning. And I was like, I just don't want to go to the ER this late at night, you know? And my doctor, my OB did tell me, I have his cell phone number. He did tell me to call him anytime, but I just felt weird about it. Like, is this really warranted to call him? I don't want to go to the hospital, but anyway, so I was just going back and forth. So then I was like, well, I'll take my blood pressure again and see if it has gone down. And it had gone down. It was like 130 over, maybe that time it was like closer to 90. So the diastolic was a little bit high, but the systolic had gone down. So it was like 130 on the right arm and like maybe a little more than 130 on the left. I'm like, okay, it's starting to go down. I'm going to keep resting and I'll take it again. Like, let's not rush to the hospital. And then finally by like 2 a.m. when I finally went to bed, it was 120 over 80. So it was normal. And then at my prenatal appointment, my blood pressure was 128 over 66. So that was fine. The nurse, I discussed it with the nurse at my appointment, and she was like, you know, you can kind of feel when your blood pressure is high, you just feel weird. And she said, just since you have the capacity to take your own blood pressure, take it when you feel that way, you know, and just keep an eye on it. She also said mild swelling is totally normal, especially at this point in pregnancy. She's seen way worse, and the swelling really, it hasn't come back. So I think that was an isolated incident. I was feeling stressed out at that moment, and like that evening over, and kind of that day, like over my business stuff. And it's kind of a whole long story, just trying to get my path sorted out and trying to get things stabilized before the baby is born. So anyway, so I think the stress probably drove it up, and the swelling probably drove it up. I don't know why the swelling happened. That could have happened because of we ate at P.F. Chang's that night and I had this chicken fried rice. And, you know, Chinese food is salty. So it was probably, maybe I was swollen from the salt and sitting in one position for so long. Anyway, so that's my blood pressure saga. The other thing that happened, so that was Monday night. Then Tuesday night, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like go to bed like at a normal time. No. I had the worst stomach pain, okay? And I've had this before in pregnancy. I've only had it one other time where it was this bad, where it like nearly drove me to tears. It was that painful. But this time it was a little different because it wasn't like constant, but it would come in waves, almost like contractions, or how I almost like imagine contractions to be. But it would kind of go away. The pain would kind of go away. And then it would be this wave of like cramping, like almost like my stomach was contracting, I guess. But I knew it was gas pains, and I tried all my tricks, OTC stuff, and just wouldn't touch it. And finally, I had to go to bed, basically sitting straight up for like half the night. And eventually I kind of slid down and would sleep on either side, still propped up. And by the morning, the pain was gone. So I think it was a combination of gas. I had felt pretty full that evening after eating dinner. So it was probably that. And I've been kind of constipated this week. So I think it was probably part constipation as well. And like the baby would move, and when he would move, it would just like be really uncomfortable for my stomach. So other than those things, just still the normal stuff that I talked about last week, just having more energy in the morning, less in the evening, belly feeling heavy in the evening, hard to go upstairs, that kind of thing. Just like the normal minor pregnancy stuff. Okay, let's move on to cravings and aversions. I have been craving fresh fruit and veggies, like cold food basically, and my meat aversion came back temporarily. I was so sad because, since the end of the first trimester, I've been fine with meat, no issues. We ate at this Japanese place, and I got we ate at a Japanese place and I got a Korean dish. Go figure. But it was like a Korean bulgogi. I got, beef bulgogi. And it just turned me off so much. It was so disgusting to me. I could hardly eat anything. And from then on, like for several days, I just couldn't think of, like, I didn't want to think about meat. I didn't want to touch meat or anything. Then finally I started coming out of it later in the week, and I started with chicken. And even that was kind of hard to get down, but I like tried to make myself eat it. Like in the chicken fried rice, it was kind of mixed in there, so you don't really notice as much. Chipotle burrito bowl. And now I think I'm mostly over it. It was kind of surprising that my meat aversion came back. It was annoying. So I didn't like that it came back. Okay, so final category is something new. So we had our hospital tour on Saturday, and it was so amazing. I'm like, after that tour, I felt so pumped about giving birth. Not that I was dreading it or scared of it before, but now that I can see like where I'm going to be giving birth and like what all the procedures are, it's just really, really exciting. So I feel very pumped. Let me just look at I was the only person in the tour taking notes, of course. The food is supposed to be really good. And I saw in their hospital cafe that they even have kombucha. Like, what? Kombucha. And if you don't know what kombucha is, it's a healthy drink. Like basically it's a fermented fizzy drink, and it's a great substitute for soda, and you're getting good probiotics. And I was like, wow, a hospital has kombucha. Everything is on one unit. So typically the OR, where like if you have to have a C-section, and also the NICU, those will be on a separate unit from labor and delivery. But at my hospital, they're all on the same unit, the same floor. You walk past the nurse's station, and then you see the doors that go to the OR for C-sections. So nice. I mean, I really hope I don't have a C-section, but if I do, I mean, it's just right there. So that's super convenient. It's a level 2 NICU, so that's really good. They do encourage, rooming in with your baby. So that's really good for mother-baby bonding. The rooms are called LDRP. So that stands for labor, delivery, recovery, postpartum. And so you do all of your laboring, your delivery, your recovery, and your postpartum time in the same room. So you do not have to move. Typically, you have to move after you give birth. into a postpartum room. And sometimes it's on a like totally separate floor or wing, but you get your room, you go to your room and you're there for the entire time, which is so nice. I did ask, can we have photography and video? You can take pictures of anything at any point. Video is also fine, except for the actual delivery of the baby and any procedures. I think it's gonna be an amazing experience. I'm so excited. I would love to have the nurse that gave our tour because she was so kind. Yeah, so we had our hospital tour and then I had my 9th prenatal appointment. You guys, I will forever be spoiled by German prenatal care. Like, American prenatal care will forever feel incomplete to me because you go there and what do? They check your vitals, you know, your weight, blood pressure, pee in a cup, listen to the heartbeat of the baby, measure your fundal height, just kind of, you know, feel your belly, make sure everything's okay. Any questions? Okay, you're good to go. Like, where's my ultrasound? I want my ultrasound. So it just, I don't know, it doesn't, you know, my doctor is great. He's a very competent doctor. Everyone at the office is super friendly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, German prenatal care will always be my first impression of what prenatal care is like supposed to be. And I don't know. I just want to bring my German OB care to the States, please. So anyway, I just, yeah, that's just my perspective and that's just what I will always be used to. Anyway, so that was week 32, kind of eventful. And this video is running kind of long, but I did have a question for you guys. If you are pregnant or you have been pregnant in the past, let me know the answer to this question. Do you check your baby registry to see who has bought you gifts? And if you look at like what has been bought, do you look at who's giving you the gift before you get it? I'd really like to know because I don't have very good self-control in this area. I have been good kind of about not looking at the gift giver all the time, but I look at my registries all the time and I see what's been bought. So I'd like to know if you guys do that too, or if you have more discipline than I do and don't look. But anyway, we have our 2 baby showers coming up soon. So yeah, leave a comment down below about your answer to that question. And if you are new here and you have not subscribed yet, I'd be delighted if you would hit that subscribe button and join my tribe here on YouTube. Also, go follow me on Instagram, Warrior Life Wellness, if you want to see more like day-to-day stuff, Instagram stories, all of that. I would love to see you over there too. All right, guys, until the next video, take care. Bye-bye.